ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतंगमय। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Today I am speaking on the subject, the advent of Holy Mother, Sri Sharda Devi, the consort of Sri Ramakrishna. It is very helpful and makes our spiritual life more easy if we study life and teachings of Holy Mother, the Divine Mother of the universe. She herself came to this earth. The Divine Lord of the universe came to this earth. Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother Sri Sharda Devi, they are the real parents of all of us. Out of their infinite compassion, they have come on this earth to show us the spiritual path, to impress upon us the glory of human birth and the importance of spiritual practice. So, it is remarkable that Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother have come to our human level in order to show that spirituality can be achieved in this very life. We had heard much before, Shankaracharya and all such great saints have declared that it is possible to realize our true nature in this very life. Shankaracharya calls it as Jivan Mukti. To realize the truth consciously when you are here, when you are wide awake, when you are very much in this world, in this creation, if you realize your true nature, that is the greatest achievement, and that can be done. So it is very positive note that spirituality is not a thing to be acquired after life. Spiritual results are to be experienced or enjoyed after life. No. You can have them in this very, very life. That's the beauty of coming to this human life. In fact, the human life we have got in order to achieve that goal. So, what is needed is sincere practice and setting up the goal. Then practice the spiritual disciplines wholeheartedly. That's all that is required. And one has to struggle. The struggling depends upon to what extent the samskaras are built up in one's mind. So, the formation of the samskaras is a very important step in everyone's life. So, we always stress this point that we should give first priority for forming good samskaras in our life. Only then you will be able to understand and practice the glory of spiritual life. Then only you begin to experience real happiness, pure joy, pure love, pure compassion. Everything that is pure you will be able to understand. So here, in the incarnation of Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother Sri Sharda Devi, we see 100% purity. So here is the model, and how that purity is manifested in their personality. If you look at them, even in the look, even in their actions, even in their thinking, everything is pure and pure. It is remarkably pure. Both Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother Sri Sharda Devi looked very ordinary from outside, extremely ordinary, but extremely extraordinary. That is the wonder of wonders. Greatest wonder, I should say, is that how that extremely extraordinary spirit has manifested in a very, very ordinary way. The reason is they want to reach the most ordinary person on this earth. It's not that Sri Ramakrishna and Sri Sharda Devi are meant for only those who are advanced in spiritual life. No. The life of Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother are extraordinary because they are available even to the most wretched person on this earth. Even the most wicked man can have access. That's the beauty of Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother. Any class, any creed, any community, any country, one can have access. Coming from any creed or country, they can have access to Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother. So that means they are most easily accessible. That is the extraordinary about them. You don't have to wait for fixing up an appointment. Instantly, simply jump, simply come there, you have them. Simply by coming in the proximity of Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother, they themselves would invite you, come on, my child, come close. Why is standing at a distance? Why are you hesitating? Come along. Come close. I am not a stranger to you. All these feelings were expressed in their just look. By looking, they would understand most glorious welcome to them. Is it not extraordinary? That extraordinary quality is because of the extraordinary purity in them. A remarkable purity. I said personification of purity itself. 100% purity you find in Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother. Absolutely no difference between Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother. Sri Ramakrishna tells, I am none other than Holy Mother herself. Holy Mother Sharda Devi says, I am none other than Sri Ramakrishna. That means, if you hold on to Sri Ramakrishna, you are the recipient of the grace from the Divine Mother. If you are holding on to Holy Mother, you are qualified to receive the grace of Sri Ramakrishna. See how they are connected. See how they are helpful, most helpful, effective help, not simply superficial. There is no superficiality in any manner, either in Sri Ramakrishna's life or in Holy Mother's life. That is the beauty of them. So, the place where Sri Sharda Devi took possession was a household life, which is considered very difficult. In the sense, difficult to turn towards God. Because household life means they are knowingly or unknowingly become totally involved in their household activities, and they become totally immersed in a kind of worldliness, or I should say, they are under the total influence of Maya, that is delusion. That means everything what the scriptures say unreal is real to them. That is Maya. So they are just drawn by this hallucination, diversions, all sorts of distractions. So they are constantly being pulled by the strings of the world. At times it is extremely difficult for them even to believe the existence of God. That is the extreme type of worldliness. Of course, Maya plays her role and everyone has to play one's role. It comes to that point. So what I mean to say is, it is understandable. You don't have to explain, oh, we are householders, you don't know our difficulties. No. We know your difficulties more than what you know, if I should say that. Even if you say you are okay, I know you are not okay. That's it. But I will not say you are not okay because that may hurt you. You may feel discouraged or disappointed. I am expressing this from the higher standpoint of view. And Holy Mother Sharda Devi has taken that field. Well, if at all spirituality is to be taught, it should be taught there, at the center of the power of Maya. Where the Maya plays maximum, there Divine Mother came to show. Look, you have been deluded by this kind of Maya. Now I will show you Vidya Maya. Sri Ramakrishna says, in order to remove one thorn, use another thorn. Both of them are thorns, then throw them both. You are relieved. Same way, the avidya Maya, that is called ignorance, must be dispelled by the Vidya Maya, the power of knowledge. What a beauty it is. It's a joy to play in this game. Maya fighting the Maya. So, Mother Sharda Devi has come to show, to bestow upon everyone the light of knowledge. The light of knowledge is spirituality. If you are becoming aware that you are in darkness, if you are really in need of light, then you come to the light of spirituality. The light of knowledge means the light of spirituality. That is Vidya Maya. As long as we are having this mind, we are all under the realm of Maya. Whatever Maya you may call. But once you realize the highest truth, you are transcending both this Vidya and Avidya. Both are gone. You are in your own true glorious nature. So you enjoy immense peace and immense bliss. That is the state of liberation. So, we have to understand, we have to study lives of these great persons, Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother, from this standpoint. So you find there was a fusion of the human and the divine in the personality of Sri Sharda Devi, who is on the left side of Sri Ramakrishna here. Where Sri Ramakrishna is, there Sri Sharda Devi is present. It's just like when there is fire, there its power to burn is present. You can't say fire is there, but it cannot burn. No. Then it is not fire at all. It is something else. So, Holy Mother combined spirituality with her household duties, which are ordinarily worldly duties, in a wonderful yet natural manner. So, Holy Mother was a person who acted as a housewife, attending to all everyday domestic matters, and at the same time rose above all this to a state of supreme love and compassion for every being. So her love was so extraordinary, it transcended all limitations of caste or color, of merit or demerit, in fact of all conditions of life. Sri Sharada Devi passed as an ordinary woman, but everything about her was extraordinary. There was greatness even in the simple, unostentatious ways of her life. The suffering she endured at Kamarpukur after the passing away of Sri Ramakrishna was extremely severe, but under no circumstances did she seek any help from any quarter. At Jarambati, she had to take care of large family, people of diverse natures. Some of them were very jealous and quarrelsome. Mother had to deal with them. She kept them together without ever losing her balance of mind, and she had to bear the burden of her worldly duties, carrying out with meticulous care and yet maintaining a spirit of detachment. So what we have read in the Bhagavad Gita, do thy duty, don't get attached. Here is the manifestation of that teaching. Holy Mother lived that life in that fashion. Though she was involved in all the minute details of the household work, yet she was totally detached. That is, she was not shaken. She was not disturbed in any manner on account of any reason. That is the life of Sri Sharada Devi. She combined worldly virtues with immense spirituality. So she has come to awaken Shakti. She has come to rekindle the power of the women. The women force is remarkably a strong force. But for some reason, they have lost that glory, and so they play like toys in this world. They need not be toys of pleasure. They are extremely great in their capacity, in their nature, in their achievement. As man can reach the highest goal, equally so the woman can reach the highest goal. Sri Ramakrishna looked upon all beings as mother. And it was left to Sharda Devi to demonstrate that motherhood to the world. Grace and love incarnate, she was indeed mother to all. These are the most fascinating qualities of the mother, grace and love. Nobody is rejected. How can you expect a mother to reject the child? If for some reason, if you find somebody rejecting the child, that only shows she is not the mother of the child and she has not cherished the qualities of the mother. If you are calling yourself a mother, it should naturally follow you are endowed with love. Here we see when mother manifesting as the mother of the universe, how in every sense she manifested that quality. No distinction. The most wicked person is all welcome. And he will have the same soothing, loving treatment from the mother. Robbers, thieves, they would get transformed. They get transformed by the touch of mother, by the kindness of mother, by the grace of mother. The touch of the mother, the look of the mother would purify their hearts. That's all. Once the impurities are gone, they are gold. Sharda Devi is a combination of multiple ideals. She is an ideal daughter, an ideal sister, an ideal wife, and above all, an ideal mother. Combination of all this. Who else but Divine Mother could manifest these ideals? Even to manifest one quality, one ideal, how difficult it is. And here is a person who is manifesting all these ideals in her personality. After the passing away of Sri Ramakrishna, Sharda Devi took upon herself the task of fulfilling Sri Ramakrishna's mission. That is, the spiritual teacher in Sharda Devi became manifested fully. Guru in her own right, she helped many spiritual aspirants, leading them to the light. If you study Sharda Devi's life carefully, attentively, you find she was an example of harmonization of selfless service with spiritual quest. The great Ramakrishna order was modeled on this ideal. The well-being of all was a constant concern of the Holy Mother. Her pure, abounding love was devoid of discrimination. So, the advent of Holy Mother has exemplified woman's role in the life. her immaculate qualities. Holy Mother had devotees from all sections of people, rich and poor, high and low. And Mother Sharda Devi is now worshipped as the Blessed Mother of all, as a symbol of moral and spiritual perfection, and as the divine consort of Sri Ramakrishna. So, if you study her life, you find how great the spiritual life is. There are many, many incidents in her life which show up her noble qualities. There was a great devotee, Akshay Kumar Sen, the author of Punthi, a great work. He used to live very near Jairambati, a few miles away. Jairambati is a village in Calcutta. And he would come to pay his respects, and he would go to Mother to offer his service. And he would always love to go to Holy Mother whenever he found time. He was a regular visitor of Holy Mother's place at Jairambati. But then he became old. He could not come, though he wanted to go, but at the same time, his heart was already in the Jairambati. He would always feel uplifted by thinking of the place, by thinking of Holy Mother, because he had tasted the divine joy in the company of Sri Ramakrishna. So, what he would do, even though he could not go physically on account of his health, he wanted to do something. So he would send vegetables, sometimes rice and articles to Mother's place. He would feel satisfied. I have sent some of these things for offering. So, those days, somebody was to be hired upon to carry this luggage. It's a walking distance, no doubt. But even then, few miles one has to walk, carrying the luggage. So he engaged a lady to take all these articles to give to Holy Mother. And she was very happy to do that. First of all, she got a job now. She could get some money. And so she was very happy. And she took all the things, bundled up in a bag, and she carried the luggage. But she had to walk through. It was not a cool season to walk. It is very hot. But in spite of it, she carried the load and came to Jairambati and met the Mother. The Mother saw, and the first thing she did was, well, please go and take a bath, refresh yourself, and then please come. You will have little food to take, drink, have some drink, tea or something. Then we shall talk about. The first thing Mother did was go and take a bath and come. And she was stunned because that poor lady didn't have that kind of treatment in her life any time before. It was the first experience for her. to be treated like her own daughter. And because she was always having that feeling that she belonged to low caste. And Holy Mother Shri Sharda Devi belongs to higher class. How is it that she could treat me in this way? It was beyond her expectation, beyond her imagination. But still, she was really very fortunate because she came in touch with Holy Mother. She got the love of Holy Mother. She got all the kindness of Holy Mother. In a way, her inner body was purified. Because of that purification, undergone invisibly, that lady was experiencing a kind of joy, a kind of peace in her heart, which was not so easy to get. And so she went and she took bath, she came, and then Holy Mother talked with her a few minutes, and then, though the lady wanted to return the same day, Mother said, no, you should not return today itself. Take rest here. You need rest. You need rest. Your body needs rest. And what she did was, in her own, where Holy Mother lived, on the frontage, she prepared a special bed for her. And she asked that lady, go and take rest there. And as soon as she touched the bed, she was snoring because she was so tired, and she got so much loving treatment and good lunch, everything, and she totally forgot herself. She was in deep sleep. And then what happened was, because of her physical ailments and some problems in her system, at the dead of night, the bed was spoiled, and so, but anyway, the mother used to get up very early. She used to get up at 3 o'clock every day. And she saw the bed was spoiled by the lady who used the bed. And what mother did was, she made her to take bath, etc. She never abused her because the bed was spoiled. She never abused. On the other hand, she loved more love towards her. Well, I hope you had a good rest. Now, before the day becomes hot, please reach your home early. So, Holy Mother gives puffed rice and some eatables so that she can eat them on the way. She gave them sufficiently more than what she required. And she made her go in a very comfortable way. After she left the place, Holy Mother herself took the responsibility of cleaning the place. She never told anybody. She never made a fuss about it. There was no hue and cry, ho, ho, like that. Nothing. Silently, without anybody's notice, Holy Mother herself cleaned the place, washed the bedspread, put it on the hot sun. Everything was done. And cleaned the place. Everything was thoroughly done. Then afterwards, one by one, all the people are waking up and coming, going back and forth. Though Mother did not disclose this to anyone, there was one lady devotee who was living there with Holy Mother. She came to know of this somehow. And then when the people came to know about this incident, they were all surprised. And that is the quality of mother, how she was treating that lady belonging to a very poor class. Though she was not cultured in any way, but mother showed the same love towards her as she would love other children. So it's very important to note this incident and how we should conduct ourselves in our daily life under so many situations, similar situations. It is the important thing is how you act is more important. So in your every action, your spirituality is tested. Simply telling, oh, I have received mantra, I have got a guru, I have got this, I have got that, I am visiting monastery 10 times, monthly twice at least I come. All these things, all these explanations will not work. The test of spirituality is how you behave, how you act upon. That's important. If you take it in that spirit, you will see you can reach the maximum heights in spiritual life. It is possible, but every moment you must be aware of your spiritual dimension. That is, you are taking this human birth to develop that spiritual dimension, not to waste your life. If you don't give attention to development of the spiritual personality, your life opportunity given was gone. Next life, who knows what would be? Nobody could replay. Nobody can assure you that you will be born again as a human being. Even if you are born as a human being, nobody is sure whether you are born in a good family or. Who tells all that? But the fact is, according to your samskara, you are born. That's the theory. That's well-established theory. That's why in the beginning of my talk I stressed upon the formation of good samskaras. As samskaras, so you will be. As you sow, so you reap. It's a wonderful statement. So, we see in Holy Mother how she was kind and compassionate and loving. There is another instance where Mother showed her innate divine nature. There was a child widow. She was living near Jarambati. See, those days, there would be child marriages, and sometimes some unfortunate things would happen like this. They would become widow. Then the whole life was full of difficult situations. But here this particular lady, she used to come to Holy Mother and she would be happy to do some works in the Holy Mother place. You know, as she grew, she became youthful and she began to manifest all the qualities of the woman. And in course of time, she fell a prey to the evil designs of a person. As a result, she became pregnant. But then, so long the society, the community of the village, they were all not knowing at all about this woman. But once this lady, they were thinking in their worldly ways. When Holy Mother came to know about this incident, how the people in general are reacting to this unfortunate thing, she became sad. And she prayed herself to Sri Ramakrishna so that that lady could be saved from these villagers. It so happened, one of the zamindar, the important person of the village, intervened in this matter and straightened out the things so that the lady was not punished in the way the people were thinking of. And this zamindar was the disciple of Holy Mother. And when Holy Mother came to know, she was very happy to hear this, and she was immensely relieved and blessed him. She said to him, "Son, I am extremely glad that you have saved a helpless woman. God bless you." By this incident, we get a glimpse of the broadness of her heart, which could even accept a social outcast. So, all these things are very important for us to observe. There's another incident. You know, there is a small ashram in Koalpara, that's also not far away from Jarambati. There, they had some activities. One Swami was there, his name was Vidyananda. He was not keeping well. He was not happy. So he came to see Mother at Jarambati. And he said, "Mother, I am not happy. I am not feeling good about my way, my life in Koalpara. So I am thinking of going to Benares." Holy Mother saw him and said, "Well, don't worry about those things. Now you have come to me. You follow what I say now. Stay here. Stay here for a few days. Then we will see." That's all. In those few days, what happened? Tremendous change in the personality of that Swami. For the first time, he was getting purest form of love and affection from Holy Mother. And he felt that ashrama and Holy Mother are one and the same. So his thinking pattern also changed. And he began to feel inside his heart that His whole being is surrendered at the feet of the Holy Mother. How can he claim in any manner whatever they think? As a person who surrendered himself totally to her, he should do whatever is to be done without grumbling. That's all. As Lord Krishna says, do thy duty, I should do my duty, that's all. Doing my duty is my responsibility. Not more than that. I don't aspire for result. If you aspire for result, part of that mind is divided to the result. No. Give the whole mind to performing the duty. Don't think of the result. Result will come by itself. So, he stayed there with Holy Mother for 2 months. He got over. All his mental sickness was totally vanished. He became rejuvenated. His health was revived. He became shining. He became enthusiastic, spirited. And then he said, Mother, now Koalpara Ashrama is itself my Benares. I will go there. He returned back and took up more responsibilities, worked more hard than before. So, how Mother could change the pattern of a person just by her power of love and purity. She would never use any harsh word for disciplining anybody. She would always apply a healing touch, just a loving words and a good treatment would straighten out anything. So, to understand Holy Mother, there is only one language, that is the language of love. Holy Mother was the embodiment of truth, and so anybody who would come to her would feel the impact of that. She was a great woman of few needs. Her life was hard, simple and ascetic. Simple living and high thinking was her royal way of life. Even foreign women like Nivedita, who came to Holy Mother, how she was totally transformed in her outlook and thinking. Sister Nivedita, Margaret Noble, an English lady, disciple of Swami Vivekananda, who came to India, she was refused admission to the Dakshineshwar Kali temple because she was a foreign lady. But when she came to Holy Mother, she was received with so much of love and affection. She could not believe herself. For the first time she felt what exactly spiritual love means. So, Holy Mother stressed the importance of keeping good health for adoration of God. Holy Mother endorsed Swami Vivekananda's Atmana Mokshartam Jagadhitaya, realization of the self through service of humanity. Holy Mother led all people, men and women, to consider even their smallest duty as a service of God. This atmosphere could only be created by following Holy Mother's teachings. And Mother's teachings are simple but direct. It touches your heart very effectively, and it does its effect. It purifies you and takes you near to God. And her main teaching was, don't try to pick out fault in others. By doing that, you are making yourself impure. If you become impure, you are not qualified for spiritual life. How simple it is, but how true it is. The moment you pick out fault in others, you are staining your mind. Your mind becomes black spot. Suppose in one day you are able to pick out faults of 10 people, there will be 10 black spots on your mind. Next day if you repeat them, these black spots become more thick. The more and more you do, the more and more these black spots become stubborn. Then finally you become victim to the black spots. Never entertain any such idea. But you have to be very careful in understanding this teaching. Sometimes the Guru points out certain things to the disciple. Do you mean to say Guru is finding fault with the disciple? Sometimes the mother has to teach the children some lessons, and in course of her teaching she would say, don't do that. It doesn't mean she is finding fault. So you have to be careful in understanding this noble teaching. And she says, no one in this world is a stranger. No one is alien to you. Feel that the whole world belongs to you, you belong to the whole world. You are the part and parcel of the whole creation. Have that ideal in your life. That will set the activities properly. So that should be your, always you must be aware of the ideal. Well, as a student, as a disciple of Holy Mother, my adoration to Holy Mother is to follow her teachings. That is, I should not pick out dirt in others. Let me see if I have got dirt in myself. So use that quality of finding fault, apply to that to yourself and find out. Well, if I have got any dirt, let me wash it away. That's the attitude we must have. People, as soon as they take up this higher life or the spiritual life, which is entirely opposite to worldly life, is diametrically opposite in everything, immediately they expect some kind of vision. Sometimes the hallucination, they may be thinking they are getting visions. But anyway, visions can come only when the mind has attained a purity level. That's very important. And Holy Mother says one gets the vision of God only through His grace. But one must practice meditation and japa. Doing these regularly remove the impurities from the mind. Mind is cleaned. Cleaning of the mind is a very important step in spiritual life. Cleaning of the mind. One must practice spiritual disciplines such as worship, prayer, so forth. Then you will see the effect of purity in your mind. Mother gives an example. If you handle a flower, you get the fragrance of the flower. Suppose you rub the sandalwood against a stone, you get the smell of the sandal. Even so, by constantly thinking of God, you get spiritual awakening. See how through simple examples she has given the highest idea. Then again she says, the moon in the sky is covered with clouds. Wind will blow away the clouds, and then only can you see the moon. Do these clouds scatter away all of a sudden? So, the karmas get exhausted slowly. When God is realized, He illumines the soul internally. Can one achieve anything without effort? You must devote some time for prayer, japa, even in the midst of the busiest hours of the day. That means, through her teaching, she is telling, don't give that reason anymore. Even if you are exhausted, don't stop doing your spiritual practices. Do it and then go. Holy Mother herself said, I used to be very busy during my days at Dakshineshwar. Whole day I was extremely busy. Yet I did my prayer and meditation. If you want to know the busiest person, Holy Mother is the busiest person. And she has done japa and meditation. Why not you do? Everything, no doubt, happens by God's will. It is true. Yet, one must work because God expresses His will through one's action. Don't relax your spiritual practices. Mother used to say, because regarding the japa and meditation, people keep on asking how many times you have to repeat Ra's name. You have to tell them minimum, then they will consider your idea. Suppose you say, you repeat 10 times, it will do. They will be happy. If you say, repeat 1,000 times, they think about what this Swami is giving impractical suggestion. like they will think. See here what Mother says. Sharda Devi says, first of all, you must take mantra. It's very important. And somebody asked, Mother, is it necessary to take mantra? Simply I repeat Kali Kali. Is it not enough? Mother said, no, you should take mantra. Mantra purifies the system. That purifying system must be done in a proper way. Mantra has to be taken. That means one must go to Guru and take the mantra. Afterwards, one must repeat the mantra At least, see the word at least, that's very important. 15 to 20,000 times a day. Not 10 times or 108 times. 15 to 20,000 times a day, at least. If you are able to do more, it's wonderful. Then you will get some results. First you repeat that, then you will see. And then mother says further, one is sure to get. She is telling the personification of truth, mother. Mother Sharda Devi is telling us, repeat 50 to 20,000 times God's name, you will get result. You are sure to get. The mind gets purified after strenuous spiritual endeavor. Without regular practice, nothing can be attained. Both purity and impurity are in the mind. When a man sees defects in others, his mind gets polluted. As regards the mind getting ruffled now and then, it's quite natural. Don't get upset over that. By its very nature, the mind has its own ebb and flow. Ebb and flow. So, the simplest spiritual discipline mother has given, and that is repeat the name of God. You get all what the yogis get. Same result you will get by just repeating God's name. I don't know whether you have heard the name Gopalar Ma, Aghor Mani Devi. Her spiritual discipline was simply repeating God's name. She was doing some service in the temple, Bindu Madhava temple. I visited the temple also when I was in Calcutta. And in her free time, that means whenever she would go back to her cottage, she would take the rosary and repeat God's name. By just doing that only, she got the vision of Lord Krishna, Gopala, baby, child Krishna. And the child Krishna lived with her throughout her life. So, that was the idea of giving God's name to children. But nowadays, they start giving God's name and then they twist it. They don't know. By twisting the God's name, you are twisting the whole meaning. There was a girl whose name was given as Rukmini. Then finally, one day I was in that home and somebody called Mini. What is Mini? What is Mini? Oh, Swamiji, her name is Rukmini, but we are calling Mini. Rukmini is gone. Mini they are calling. Rukmini is Lakshmi's name. Mini, meaningless. Anyway, so we are very good in twisting everything. We twist spirituality also. That's called Anukul Vedanta. You want Vedanta to suit you. Accordingly, you twist it. Once you start twisting it, your mind becomes twisted. Finished. Case is gone. So, be very careful not to twist the mind. Be careful to keep the mind clean and pure. Be simple, at the same time austere. That means follow disciplines and follow teachings of Sri Ramakrishna Holy Mother. Take their ideas, practice them in your own way and get the results in this very life. Seeing God Dwelling upon their teachings itself gives a joy, immense joy. So we are celebrating Holy Mother's life, birthday. Her Holy Mother's birthday is coming this month. We are worshipping, offering special worship to her. I am offering special worship, that special program in Chicago. We are doing it on 31st December, that is Friday, so that people can come and attend. And if you are able to come, you are welcome to participate in that program. All these special days, you are open to special grace by the Divine Mother. Every day there will be grace. Special grace means, even if you don't ask, they will give you something. Gift. That's the meaning of grace. Thank you very much.
Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. May the Divine Spirit protect us, guide us, give us strength and right understanding. May we not hate one another. May love and harmony be with us all. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. May the Divine Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we work in harmony with great vigor. May our study be illuminating and fruitful. May we not hate each other. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.